Kush and Cow Show. Kush and Cow Show. Kush and Cow Show. It's the Kush and Cow Show.
We back outside again.
Yes, sir.
We here mashing the works. And tonight we have a beautiful Empress with us. And it's a great honor to have our Empress on the show for the first time. So we'd like to say welcome, Empress, for being the first official female guest on Kush on the Couch. And we have Empress Q here with us, better known as Q-Lin Selassie. I'll lay up at the middle part.
Fakarity Selassie. We were talking about it before we went on live.
Fakarity Selassie.
Love of the Trinity. Give thanks.
Yes, and it's such a pleasure now and to have you here. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm so excited to be here. It's a great set. Yes. Loving the energy. Yeah. Brethren. Yeah. Love what you all are doing as well. And thanks for letting me know I'm the first Empress.
Yes.
I love being the first. Is a thing.
And we didn't
realize. Stories.
We didn't realize till just now, actually.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't planned like that.
I sat in the bar.
Yeah.
So here on Kush on Couch, we kick back, we spark up, and we hold our reason.
Great spark up. So as I was telling earlier, my new favorite bag.
Right. Yes.
Right, my little see-through Birkin inspired bag. So how could I come on Kush on and Couch and not bring some herb, right? So I brought some pre-rolls here and some lighters.
We definitely appreciate it.
And it's a Douglas, like we just say in Trinidad.
Right.
It's blue gelato mixed with purple marmalade.
Okay.
Wow.
Right? Outdoor organic. Will guard you are red. I didn't have no black. I know this month was your Earth Strong.
Did I nothing?
So I bring up purple.
That will still work.
Right?
The royalty, the royalness of the purple will still work, man.
I don't have a lighter, so I'm borrowing your lighter.
Sure.
Right?
Yes, brother.
And
Give thanks.
And of course.
Also the first guest.
Yeah.
To bring us a burn on Kush on the Couch.
Normally
we provide the smokes and thing, right? That's just part of the aesthetic. That's no problem. That's no problem.
Yeah. And so if all you will notice, quick, because we'll jump into that part, but I just wanted to point out that the butts of these pre-rolls, this is a locally made pre-roll by Planted TT, and I got the Herbees Awards logo done on it. I saw
that,
Right? So that if you'll just notice, again, purple marmalade and blue gelato, outdoor grown, organic, from up in the mountains of the east of Trinidad.
And as you mentioned, the Herbees.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah, sure.
We know you have an initiative coming up called the Herbees Award.
Yeah.
Give us some information on what that is.
Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm excited. Okay, so let's jump straight in here. Your audience will see this because I also want to give Isaiah his People's Choice Judge ticket. And there's only 10 People's Choice Judges, so you're one of them. Here's your ticket. Don't worry, we don't have to do the money part here, but this is yours.
I appreciate that.
And
look out for me. Look out for me in the Herbees Award. I like it.
Come and get some footage too. We need content, right?
Yeah.
So what is about? It's a cannabis community competition, right?
Right.
And when it was launched in 2022, straight out of the pandemic, the whole vibes, how I felt was that the pandemic pushed the cannabis community to just grow.
Okay.
A lot of people started making edibles. A lot of people started making wine. I myself lived through COVID, hustling cannabis products, right? Yeah. But I saw the community blossom. I saw a lot of young people, meaning 20, come up, get into it, and I was really inspired.
Yeah.
The level they took it to where they were watching what foreign was doing, the packaging, the packaging, everything. I was like, right. So the idea came to me, divinely inspired, all praises to the Most High, because it comes as visions, and, I give thanks for the strength and health and passion to push it through, So 2022 I started, and it was online. It was just an Instagram contest where we just asked people to send in pictures and video, saying like if it was best indoor grow, send us 5 pictures of your grow with a video. You didn't have to be in it, but you had to talk about your plants. And say, well, this process is whatever, and what soil and what strain and whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing Let's snip out something from that.
Yeah, and it went well to the point that at least in every category we got at least 3 entrants. Okay. And when I was running it online, it only had first place winners because most of the prizes either came from me or they were sponsored from people in the community. Right. So, we didn't have the resources to say, all right, I'll give a first, second, and third place.
Right.
But we did it for 2 years like that, and it went really well. And then there is so let me say the categories. Yeah. There is Best Indoor Grow, Best Outdoor Grow, Best Edibles, Canopreneur of the Year, and Weed Warrior. So the Weed Warrior category is activists, and normally I choose it. Yeah. It's not something that has been open just yet because I don't feel as if the community on point with that. And I kind of know the people who kind of doing the work, behind the scenes. Yeah. But the others are chosen by the community. And this year is the first year we're going to do a live contest. So we have 10 People's Choice judges like yourself. And then we have 5 celebrity judges. So far we released 4. Yeah. So ladies are 420, Ayana and Asha Wadada. Saw that. Prophet Benjamin, King David. Yeah. So we have one more to release. Yeah. I just, just for the sake of reasoning, just to let you all know, I really wanted a young herbalist, like young brother, to be on it. That was my pick, or Lady Lava, Yeah. And surprisingly, Lady Lava doesn't smoke or drink. Right. So because I called their management, I was like, look, I have a Ganja Awards. Yeah. We want you to be part of it. She's like, well, Lady Lava don't smoke. Okay, give thanks. Yeah. And then my young brother touring the world. Okay. So he wasn't available because he wouldn't be in the country. So, we're going to go within the Rastafari community again, most likely.
And find someone.
Yeah, and find someone. Yeah. But I'm expansive. I don't like to pigeonhole the thing where it's like the same 5 people right through. Yeah. But, for the first year, okay, these are tried and true ganja warriors, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's a good lineup for celebrity judges for sure, Definitely. So it's going to be in a private location. It's $100 a day because it's 2 days. So one day is edibles, which is Saturday, and then flower is Sunday. And even though those who come in will be guests and they won't actually be trying the different entries, they would be witnessing it, right? And
this is my next question to you, Mike.
Yeah.
You see that as a private event, but it will definitely be open to the public.
It's open to the public, but it's pre-ticketed. So you have to buy a ticket before. Okay. It's not going to have tickets at the door.
Where does...
So Casa Farms, that's a grow shop. Casa Farms grow shop in Duncan Village or Sawa. Mm-hmm. And then Up in Smoke Vape Shop is our other partner sponsor. Big up to both of them because they came on board with no hesitation. And Up in Smoke is in, Shoguanas Main Road, Montrose right there. And they have one next to UE. Right. The little smoke vape shop, if you go by UE, So, you buy tickets there. As I said, it's $100 a day. Let me tell you quick. So, what's the advice for $100? You're going to get a swag bag from the jump. As you enter, we're going to do a welcome drink. If you've been to any cannabis mingles before, Ayana's event, I used to do a wine cooler, ganja wine cooler. Nice. So, that's our vibes, and an edible. And we're going to have giveaways. We have door prizes. We have a DJ. Right. A nice event to stimulate the community. Hopefully it'll inspire some ideas, some collaboration.
I think it's an amazing event.
Oh,
from the time I first saw the first ad or the first initiative that they put out, I was like, I need to be part of this. I literally need to come out and see, because the industry is calling for more entrepreneurs to come out and create events based around the cannabis culture and around the herb, because now that we have come into the period where we at least get decriminalized, we have to start to kind of show them the benefits of what it could do for society, for the revenue and for,
Yeah. And you're saying that, we have to show them. It's really sad as well, though, that with the industry being legalized in so many places and blossoming and big, and I don't know if you all saw the recent, I think it was Forbes maybe, but 17 billion in Caribbean cannabis tourism, estimated. And I'm like, so who is in the government, our government, who is not like, let's get in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it have to be us doing the work. And, thank God, I have to say, in all my advocacy, I have not received any backlash. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
going strong, but it's always in the back of your mind. This is Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know how you all feel about that. How you all feel about being like media people in the cannabis space.
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, part of my journey has always involved me smoking on camera. Now, in the initial stages of when I had first started Lions and first started doing it, a lot of people was like against it. They would tell me like, if you want to make it, or you shouldn't smoke on camera. But growing up, it always had this preconceived notion that a person can smoke and be active and be productive and add to society.
Yeah.
So that was like my little rebellious way of fighting back to show them, well, look,
Love that.
Look, we could do this and we could still pull on,
Love that.
even bird, Kush and couch, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Love that.
We definitely, I
Out
myself,
there.
would be advocates for the thing for sure.
For me, it even was like, because right before the first episode, up to the moment of taping, I wasn't sure if I was going to smoke on camera.
True.
Yeah, and broke through that mold and
Yeah.
no turning back,
Yeah.
Because I was of the opinion as well, like, your job, people in society looking at you, that you can't display that you smoke like that now, the children looking up,
Yeah,
dealing
yeah,
with
yeah.
primary schools, secondary schools.
Yeah.
But I think society is evolving tremendously at a fast rate. I'm glad for people like you all who doing the advocacy and
Thanks.
leading that charge so that people could be more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, that this herb is not what they think it is. Anything could be abused. For me, if you're looking at abuse, you can't just look at cannabis because we abuse sugar daily, we
Correct.
abuse salt daily, and
Correct.
these are things that are legal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
readily
exactly.
available.
So
So I'm gonna just jump in and be hardcore now because I'm talking soft and nice, but I'm a firewoman, right?
Yeah, but let me get you fire
Let me
going.
get,
Let me get you fire
because
going.
come on, we living in Trinbago.
Yeah.
Carnival was what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Your mother and father half drunk, half naked, going down the road, and we think in our culture, hey,
That's
that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
You understand? You seen your teacher from school chipping down the
winding
road.
down low.
You understand? She might be in papers, wearing pasties and thing, and we think, well, that's a costume.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
And I'm like, as a Rasta woman, again, I would burn the fire and say, it's nakedness. If you put feathers and beads and cover yourself with that and you feel that's art, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't really think, I'll tell you, before consciousness and Rastafari, years I was in Carnival. And in the 90s, I don't date myself so old, but, early 2000s, to say, I would say I had my youth in 2012. So pre that, Carnival, you all will know, was a different vibes. It was a chip, it was a thing. We don't know Juve being exclusive and ban and thing. Juve was your old pants and a
And anybody,
thing.
and you get it to the closest truck.
More
and-
communal, right?
Yeah.
So Carnival in itself, in the vibe, not to pick on Carnival, but I just saying, look how we look at that as a society and we can justify in the culture of Carnival. Like I put up on Steakhammer time too. I was driving on the road and I saw a huge billboard, Angostura 3 rums, and it said, when you pour
We rain.
we rain, or a joy
so
rain,
bad.
something like and I'm like, okay, but that's not really the truth because alcohol is a down pressor,
Yes.
right? So you ain't really know where you drink a bottle of rum and just know you're going to be cap out somewhere. You understand? So and my thing is that with the hypocrisy in society is all right. You're drinking your rum thing, but if I like this, all of a sudden I am what, an addict or a drug person, you know what I mean? And you know me, I'm a teacher, I have a youth, you know what I mean? I do craft, I do other things. So come on, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
ourselves and
Yeah.
about society,
Yeah.
about where it is.
And what we really need.
You understand?
Just yesterday I was listening to a documentary, as a matter of fact, 4 actually play back to back on cannabis and thing, and they was talking about the cannabinoid receptors in your body and how well cannabis designed just to connect with those, because when the cannabinoids connect with the receptors, it is create a whole different effect than what your body naturally have. But it is not something that throwing off your body. It's like something like
superfood.
Like it was superfood.
It's like minerals, you
it's
know
like
what
a
I mean?
superfood, you know?
Like eating sea moss. You get 91 minerals one time. You know what I mean? Yeah, and the creator make that. And let me just add, as we're talking about that, my other thing too is I'm big on mushrooms. Right? I'm big on DMT. And I'm not an expert as with ganja, but I love mushrooms. I think that...
Let me just put this here all day, not to cut you across. But that was actually the reason I was interested in having a conversation with you. Because I heard you mention it already, and it's something that kind of fascinates me as well. And
psilocybins.
So for those that mightn't exactly know what we're talking about, if I could just give you a little brief thing and when it comes to the shrooms, because we don't want them to think is the black top mushroom we're eaten by the Chinese and then we talk about.
Yeah. Well, so let's draw a parallel as you say that. I didn't think about this before. It just popped into my head. But let's draw a parallel with that with cannabis and THC and CBD.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it have cannabis plants that high in CBD, low in THC, right? That when you smoke it, you're not going to get that cerebral uplifting effect, but you're going to get the receptors, the endocannabinoid system going to be
activated and such. Yeah.
Right? So when you eat mushrooms, edible mushrooms, food mushrooms, is the same mycelium, meaning that it's a network, they're doing the same thing, they occur naturally in nature, but they don't contain psilocybin, which is the psychoactive, right?
Properties.
So again, that's like the high THC herb, right? Everything in it, like comparing it now. So what these psilocybins do, I'm not an expert. This is not my.
Now we just holding a reason.
Yeah. Because I don't want hear why it is a be real thing about it. Because I have sisters and who does their thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Big up Mama Silo. Tropical mushrooms. That they study mushrooms. They understand it, and they have a deep connection. In terms of ancestral healing, one of the ways the sister talks about mushrooms is she says mushrooms grow on decaying things, and everything that has decayed in the earth has passed through the mycelium network. Right. So when you eat mushrooms, you are eating life. You eating, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she's like, and that's why a lot of people who are mushroom connoisseurs, they're not so much on weed, they might smoke a little weed, but mushrooms are their thing. Their whole vibes is like, anything you need to know, you premeditate it, and when you go on your trip, you're going to ask the ancestors. Yeah. You know what I mean? And mushrooms will talk to you, So recently I did a 3.5, which is a full dose.
Right.
That's like about 2 full moons ago. So 2 months ago, under the stars with 2 Aboriginal and a sister who do it more than I.
Yeah.
And to be honest, because it was my first time taking such a big dose, I can't go into it so much to say like every single thing, because your brain, when mushrooms hold you, and that's the one distinction I will bring mushrooms versus ganja. Right. You smoke herb and you feel uplifted, and if at any time you find the train moving too fast, you could like drink something sweet, go and eat some munchies, catch yourself. Yeah. Mushrooms have to let you go.
Yeah, when you finish, when the train ride is over.
Because at some point, while I was watching the stars and the cosmos like shooting past me, I'm like in my mind saying, I hope this don't continue forever, because I'm going to lose my freaking mind. Yeah. The speed, my mind was just like, and then at some point it just let me go, and I kind of like come back to earth, this kind of way. But it was beautiful. I mean, it was really something where, so let me just say too, before I had this experience, about 2 years ago, I was invited to do DMT, which is, well, you'll look up what the scientific term is, but it's a natural plant derivative. Like it's ayahuasca, right? Yeah. But this one is called Shanga. And the person who mixed the shaman mixed it with ganja to help even out the trip. Okay. So that you wouldn't just go into and I did it because somebody else who was an expert asked me to get this experience from him, and I found out after that he was battling cancer and battling other things, and like he wanted to have this deep spiritual experience to make sense of where he was in life and all of that, you know. And he asked me to come along, and I'm open. I'm like, once it's natural, so I don't do any synthetics.
Yes. Okay.
You know, Molly, LSD, nah, I good. If it growing from the earth, I tell people, I make a joke, I will lick the frog and all. I don't mind licking the frog, even though I hate frogs. But I'd rather lick the frog than take a tab or whatever. I don't know about them things, right? So when I did that experience, what that shook me up to really, firstly, I understood what all these high frequency music that I was be listening to and stuff.
Where it
coming from. Where the sonic waves and the vibration, the actual visual look of a vibration and frequency coming from. Because when you experience it, all those tonal things, I mean, you have two experiences. You have a open-eyed experience, and then you have a closed-eye experience, right? And when you do the closed-eye experience, and especially if you're doing it with somebody who, in mushrooms, I learned this term, they call it a trip master.
Right.
So this is the person who facilitates the trip,
journey.
Right, the journey, and knows how to use music and other things to help you flow, right?
It could be a rough journey.
It could be a rough journey. Right. Thank God I haven't had, I mean, I had some emotional breakthroughs. I really did, especially with DMT. You know, I had a moment where I was going through an emotional feeling, and the feeling turned into like an actual eruption of like, how to say it?
Like a release.
A release, but I felt like I was drowning in this feeling. It was a literal like drowning where I started to like wail in the DMT and was like, like, you know, hyperventilating and stuff because I got so deep into it. And the guy who facilitated it, so it had a shaman, and then it had my brethren who does these things, and he's the facilitator who would get experiences with the shaman. That makes sense? So you don't just go to him now. You have to vet you too. Right. Because he's not going to do an experience for everybody either. It's not that kind of, okay, just pay your money and, you know, he want to know where you're coming from, what's your intention to do it. And anyways, during that drowning experience, literally, y'all, I was like, and feeling like, help, you know. And the guy next to me was just like, and I just, and he's like, breathe, slow down, you're going too fast, slow down, you know. And that introduced me to breath work. That experience led me to breath work, which I do Kundalini yoga now with Jai Dev on YouTube. And that's another amazing, I mean, you know, it's, to me, my life is a journey, right? I'm still journeying. I can't, you know, and no way I look at myself and nobody should look at me and be like, she have it all figured out. You know, this kind of way, because I still think too, we're young, right? Even though we have some years, it's like, we still experiencing things, right? And the same thing with the DMT. It was one time. I would love to do it again. But let me tell you quick from that experience, what was real interesting is, so I loved it. We were all in the same headspace. At the end of the night, everybody, even though we were doing separate things, we felt like every time we ascended into our next level, you were seeing the same people there. Right? So everybody going in that level with you now. And at some point too, all the parameters of carnal experience fell away. So I wasn't seeing like Alistair, God, no more. I was like,
colors and shades.
Brethren. No, like family, love. Love. You know, this kind of, like, that's how it felt. Like we were one. At some point, it's just like, so it have no like, you know, all those things we get tied up with, flesh things now. It didn't have none of that. And when I came out of that experience, in that same night, it was an overnight experience. I was like, everybody should do this. You know what I mean? Because when you reach to that level where all those boundaries fall away, if somebody is there to guide the conversation, we could be hitting some serious, you know, issues. Like, how do we deal with this? You know what I mean? And get it. But let me tell,
That's what I wanted to ask you too. Because you spoke about feeling that drowning, feeling in the emotion. Did you work through anything after that, or it was just you experience it and you move on?
Yeah. That's a real interesting question, because I don't think intentionally I worked through it. I accepted it at that moment that that was not what love was. Like what I was feeling, and what started the snowball effect of that emotion was like I had an argument, and I was at rifts with my partner at that time, and I was like, I wasn't going to think about it. I'm like, I'm not going to think about this. I'm going to enjoy this experience. And some point in the trip, I was like, love not supposed to like feel like this. Like I shouldn't be so upset, this kind of way. And that just started to snowball. Like love shouldn't feel like this. And so I think, again, it wasn't intentional, but interestingly enough, when I did the full dose of mushrooms, the same thing kind of happened. Where I felt this urgent need for my partner and like wanted him to come in the universe with me. Because in the mushroom trip, I saw hands of the universe like reaching out for me, like calling me, come, let's do this, And I'm like, I don't want to go alone. I want him come with me, And we even called him, like, I'm like in the trip, I'm like, call him, my partner, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I came out of that, because his response, he did mushrooms plenty times for fun and for whatever. And he's like, it's 1:00 in the morning, I want to go back to bed, And I'm like, you don't want to go and travel the universe with me? This kind of. So what I took away from that experience, coupled with the DMT, is dread. This shit is for you.
Yeah.
Life, I mean, it's great to have, I would love to meet a partner who is my other half or whatever we want to say, you know what I mean? Like your soulmate or what. Yeah. But I just feel real whole in myself too, where after experiencing that, like wanting to have somebody on such a great experience and them not being ready, that is like dread. Life is, you have to be whole and experience things in the fullness and
on your journey.
And whoever's supposed to come on that frequency will meet you there. Don't be trying to like pull people on, like come with me, I will show you, Nah, you do your thing. And
I always say life journey is something singular, but it's made up of a collective. Why I say that is because we each have to fight our own battles, we each have to go on our own missions, our own journeys, we had to slay our own dragons, we had to break down we own palace gates, however you want to interpret it.
Yeah.
We all have to trod now, but it's the people that become part of the collective that make the journey worth fighting, or the castle or the dragon worth slaying, or that kind of way.
Yeah,
the people that we bring into the collective. And
for sure.
Because even for me, working on my shortcomings, you see that you don't really have to work on the group or the community. When you work on you, all you have to do is show up after that.
Yeah, it's become a reflection.
Because the you gonna know what you have to do, the group gonna know what we have to do, and things just gonna get done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah, but something, cause for me trying mushrooms, I want to do it. Seeing all the programs, doing all the research, and ayahuasca is on my bucket list, right?
Ayahuasca, I am so nervous, so. Let me just say this funny thing, podcast content.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, because, we talking DMT. After I did DMT, so I was like, so let me tell you all quick too. The next day I woke up, we're in Valencia. We did this up in some woods in Valencia, in a log cabin, real nice and thing. Had this great night experience. Daytime come 7 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, are we going to do it again? And the guy's like, yeah, we'll do it again and thing. So we load up and we inhale and we hold the breath. And it's a breathwork thing too, and, holding your breath. And watch my body, my mind, because of all the stimulation of like the traffic, it was sun coming in, the place was hot, like all those temporal carnal things made my ego, because I identified it as my ego, raise up and be like, you doing drugs?
Yeah.
Early in the morning, you doing drugs?
Yeah.
Like you need drugs to like figure out your life and thing. And I'm like, where is this voice coming from? Like, why I feeling this voice? And I just took it as like societal programmation, right? The ego trying to preserve itself. Because the thing about DMT and a lot of these things too, that you also have to keep in mind is that is a reality we have to talk about. But again, I'm not an expert. I would love a bigger panel of people to talk about this part, where I would say that when it opens you up to those realms, right? Because it's realms. And when you expand your mind so much and you realize like I am God. I am part of God. I am God. I am limitless and all these things. If you don't have a good groundation for like why you here in this realm to do our work, you might be wandering the road.
Yeah.
Like just trapped in another realm.
Yeah.
I just saying, I think that has happened, right?
Yes.
Where people chasing that, what you want to tell me, like, whatever feeling and thing. And
I'm so glad you bring that
Yeah.
part up, right? Because that is where my interest in shrooms and the whole ayahuasca and the trip. Because I, as a person, believe that this is just the physical reality we dwelling in here now.
for sure.
Even if you break down the construct of this podcast that we going live on and the chairs we sitting on and these things not even actually material as we want it to be.
Yeah.
We real because
Our minds.
making it real,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I always believe, and from the little documentaries and research, they show you that with that trip now, it's take it to the other dimensions. And it opened me up to the understanding that it have other dimensions.
Yeah.
It have
sure.
other realms, and the ancestors and these things do exist.
For
you know,
sure.
and that's why they say, like, before you take the trip, you really have to like fast and clean your spirit mentally and physically. Because if you're going to the trip with any preconceived woes or expectations, you might just get the wrong vision or what, you know, understand what I'm saying? Like we say, all right, you're going into the trip wanting to
Isaiah, you know the thing?
to speak.
And nobody told me that.
Yeah.
I was supposed to fast and cleanse my spirit, you understand? Instead I almost drown.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing too, like if you don't have nobody there with you, and you there drowning in your emotion, like weeping away.
That is, as
You
I
know?
say,
Feel that in the physical.
because
Yeah.
had you maybe drowned in that spiritual realm you wasn't there, you might have been just drunk here in
Feeling
reality.
that
Yeah.
in reality.
Yeah.
Feeling that here in
Yeah.
reality, you might just be walking wrong, as you say.
Yeah.
lost at
Anxious,
this-
like,
and
you know?
and chasing that, because it all right. So for me, if I doing it, it's not for the high.
Yeah.
It's for the journey. It's for the trip.
Yeah.
It has some people who go chase it because of the high, and we're coming with the high, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
more
yeah.
easier to manipulate for them than their own reality they're living in. Then
Yeah.
you see it, but
I like how you bring up that. So you see how we just work it out like as we talk.
Yeah.
Because my point was that okay, you do this, and people would say that. So what if you go mad, right? Like you lose your mind. But the reality of it, the real reality of it too, is that it have a dose that is medicinal.
Right.
And if you go into it and you just chasing the high, you would start to go 7 grams, 9 grams, 12 grams.
Right.
You understand? And you wanna, according to some people, we say high man people, you wanna talk to the gods and you wanna see things and
you're not thing you ain't supposed to unlock, or you're mentally ready for.
you're not mentally ready. And then too, when you go so high up, you might find earth boring. No. You know what I mean? Like you're like, well, I don't want to be here. I want to be up in the celestials. And so you always, I think that is also a very big point and part to play where once you monitor your thing and listen, as you say, the intention, you clear yourself, you do some breath work, you say, right, I am going to do a 3.5, which is a full dose to find out X, Y, and Z about myself or whatever. Irie.
Yeah.
But when you just say, a man bring some mushrooms, boy, where you feel? And you're like, well, yeah, let me do it.
And I think that should go back into the herb and all.
Correct.
Even back into the herb, because even these times, and this is like, and it's always be mindful to say that we should bring the knowledge before we bring the spliff. You know that kind of way. If you really go into can somebody else spliff, and it's the first time or something, it's better you bring them up to speed first, because that's not for everybody to, if you understand what I'm saying about it.
It's not a recreational thing. I think.
It didn't start off that way. It didn't start off with it just sitting down on a corner and pulling our weed because it did a pull.
Yeah.
It was something to connect you to the Father. It was something
when it blazes
to
fire,
bring you
it's
into that spiritual realms and You know, that kind of way. So that was, I think it should even come back to the herb and all that. We should start a kind of the word herb more sacrament and more sacred now. You know, that kind of way.
But I think they always had that side of it, that side where it is recreational. Because even when Jah provide herb for man, it still was the Canaanites using it as praises to Bacchus, and they had like big heaps of ganja burning and to south now.
So
it always had the duality and always will. And my thing with having duality in society, the part you want to be shown, market it. Because you talk about seeing the White Oak ad now, and that's the power of marketing. So if we take that approach to something that we believe is good, you know, it will have a deeper impact now. So, you know, we could even learn from that strategy to display our stuff.
This will bring me to my next question. What is your thoughts on the decriminalization process? Is it enough? Do we need more? Was it fairly done within that realms?
And how big of a part did you play?
Okay, well, I'll leave that part for last because, you know, give thanks I was a part and, you know, give thanks that Jah called me to be a part, you know, of a greater collective that did the works. You know, in my individual way with Stake, I believe, I say we because the concept too is that it's community. I may be the head person, but behind me it have people, you understand, who are like, I'll wear your t-shirt, right? So I always say stay calm and supplant as we, right? So, you know, when I started printing t-shirts, that was like the start of like a whole message that I think helped illuminate people's minds. But decriminalization, is it enough? 2019, we're in 2025. No. 4 plans, give thanks that we don't fear the cops. I mean, I would be real to myself. Like when I had a 20-piece on me and you see police, my heart used to skip a beat. You know what I mean? You know,
that's a life you're playing
come
with.
Come on, right? You getting locked up, and depending on who the cop is or the pig, is how they decide to treat you. Because I have been pulled out of a car pregnant on Germanham Avenue, leaving Belmont Community Center, Juve morning, leaving Port of Spain, and they're doing roadblock Backstreet there, Port of Spain. And, you know, Rasta, we smell. I pregnant, we leave in the city and Rasta, we smelling you, we'd wear it, and you're digging down car. This is, say, 2018. No, not 20. There was 20, I was pregnant, 2013 or something, right? 2012, 2013. But my thing is, you know, you looking for guns and knife and thing, but you worried about ganja, Rasta smoking weed. You have a son and you seen a lady there and whatever. So give thanks for that in the reality of things that we don't really business about them in that way, you know. But when it comes to justice and when it comes to really viewing the herb as a plant, we are so far from there. You know what I mean? Just because, again, the shit stem, Trinbago government did nothing after decriminalization to educate the people. The law was never printed in the papers to say that this is the amendments to the Dangerous Drugs Act. Most people don't know their rights. Most people to this day, because I think a lot of people who are not ganja activists and heavy ganja smokers, they still feel a way, like if the police, you have any, because they will call me, Q, you could travel to Tobago with weed. I'm like, yes, it's the same country. You could take a plane or a boat and it's legal.
Once you have your legal amount.
Your legal amount. And they're okay, or, you know, and so people don't know their rights. The police don't know the acts that they upholding, you know what I mean? Because they want to shake down everybody, and no, it's over to 630. Trafficking has been changed from, I always talk about this because it's crazy, from 1 kilogram, which was 2.2 pounds, was trafficking. Now, because of Faris Alwari, is 60 grams. So anything over 60 grams is considered trafficking. Anything over 30 grams with under 60 grams is considered a minor offense. And you get 30 days community service or a fine. Right? But once it crosses 60 grams, it's trafficking. You understand?
That's crazy, though.
Crazy. And he doubled all the fines When fines used to be like 50,000, now our fine is 250,000. It could go up to 3 million in the amendments that he wrote, you know?
Yeah.
So where is the... And then you're saying the justification for that and the justification for expunging records, which again, I have not really done the research, but if you really expunge 800 and something people, it would be in the papers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody in took it. I don't know any brethren. And they say, oh, hey, how you have to do it by going in the police station and requesting something. People don't even know the process. Right? But you put in forward that the justification for decriminalizing weed, marijuana, is because it weighing too heavily on the legal system because people getting locked up for pettiness. So they want to stop that. But then you increase all the fines, you know what I mean? And you make possession anything over what you declare the legal amount to be a criminal offense. So come on, you know, and then now, you know, anytime I think about our government, I have to take a breath. I have to take a deep
share
breath.
that sentiment with you.
Brethren, you understand? Because, Jano, we living in Caesar time or something. It's real, you know, and because the papi show too now, you know, I am a big woman, we educated. You're going to tell me all of that nonsense, but yet we have a cannabis control bill that was brought out the same time with the amendments to the Dangerous Drugs Act. So the criminalization and legalization was supposed to kind of go hand in hand or cascade after each other. According to Nazma Mullah, who follows up with these things, she had said that the president, I believe Paula May Weeks, did sign that cannabis control bill. The thing is, the government itself has not started any ministries.
Any process behind it.
Correct, no process. So it have no where to go and get a license, even though all of that is outlined. So what they have to form is a MCA, Medical Cannabis Authority.
The infrastructure still need to be put in place.
Right, but it's there because we went to St. Vincent last year, November, and they have a MCA. Right? Barbados have a MCA, Medical Cannabis Authority. Right? So it's like a governmental, whatever you want to call it. Correct. Right. Yeah, and where is that? And all they have it on paper that this is what we're supposed to do, this is how much license. They have all that, you know, I think it's 8 license.
Yeah, remember we read it when it came out, we were all excited.
Come on.
This is it, you know.
Right?
But years later, 6.5 years.
Yeah, 6.5 years later.
You know, but like, cause you seem very knowledgeable. So things, you see the gray areas, that is where I really wanted the bill to kind of clean up. What about grinders, vapes, bongs? What was the information on that?
I have no idea, except that I know for a fact from a customs officer that when 2023
still considered
no, they got rid of the tobacco ban or whatever on paper.
Right.
So paper used to be a scene. But now it's not. Now you could bring in paper.
Boxes are paper.
That's why a lot of shops open up. Even grinders and thing now, that's why a lot of shops.
But where that come from? Where was the declaration?
If it decriminalized the grinder itself because the
apparatus,
it releases still is a kind of Django, you know.
Yeah, but that's because you don't know your rights.
You know,
You know what I mean? Like, so those gray areas, if I was you, I would go and check it, meaning to say, I do really business, let me tell you, I just clear these things. Every time I do a podcast, as I guys tell people, I will never Kulin Jacinta Achat Security Selassie. I give my whole government name there. Will never pay Trinidad and Tobago government $1 for a license. You understand?
Yeah, for no herb.
Not for, no, because why doing now? I was doing anyways. I'm not going to pay you to do what I was doing all the time. It's you who want to lock me up for doing what I was doing. Why? You're wicked. You understand? And I elect you to do that to me? To oppress flicking me? I didn't elect you to, not that I voted, but I'm just saying, it's a democratic society. We did not put you there to big brother us, right? And in a system that is in Trinbago, for those who will be watching this around the world, it's recognizably corrupt to most of citizens.
Right.
You understand?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And this is minute things. When I say minute, it could be the licensing office. You understand? It could be the school system. Your child paying for lessons. Everything in Trinidad and Tobago have a catch or a corruption.
A bubble.
A bubble.
Yeah.
Right? And why? Because the government exemplifies this. This is their way.
Yeah, that's what's trickling down from on the tops.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody say, okay, they have government contracts. Same thing with ganja. Okay, let's stick to the topic because I will start to go on. But let's stick to ganja. Everybody who knows, we sitting here. In the back of our minds, we are like, why is the government not legalizing this?
Yeah.
Because the play ain't play yet.
Yeah.
Whatever the play have to be,
Yeah,
you understand?
For them to get a big money out of the thing, and that
It's all about the cash flow.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't play with it.
You understand? So goosebumps starting to rise up
It
because
come like a form of modern day slavery. It just come like they take you out of slavery and make you indentured slaves. So that the trawler scraps away all our fortries in the corner, they have a 28 grams and all here. But yet still 60 grams, you could be considered a trafficker and your life could be ruined. Your children could be going to school and coming home from school and seeing you on TV for 60 grams as a trafficker, like you commit the world's greatest crime.
Hey, as you bring up that point, the second year winner of Best Outdoor Grow, his username on Instagram, well, he made it for the competition, was Weed Fly.
Yeah.
That was the Indian brethren who was locked up with Alexander, whoever, and they had him on TV. He kind of became a social media thing because the brethren was saying they got him with 21 plants, 21 seedlings or whatever. And he was saying, well, when you burst the seed, you don't know which one is female or male. You have to grow them and thing, and you understand. And he said, but is weed I growing? I don't have no guns. And, it was a whole clip and the thing. He won Best Outdoor. That man growing weed as a youth, from a youth man. You understand? And I'm saying that to say that, people have been doing this in Trinbago at least since indentureship. Right? And
ganja was actually legal in
it was
Trinidad and Tobago at one point in time.
You could have buy it in the parlor, right?
Yeah, buy in brown sacks and thing, like the pongs, all on the ports and all these different things, it coming in on ships and thing.
Yeah. So, to know that and then check the system. So this is what bothers me as an activist, where sometimes there's really a divine work that we're doing, and Jah will fortify us and give us the vision.
Yes, I.
But when you look at the system that mankind are pulling, it not even thinly disguised no more, right?
Yeah.
And so how am I fighting a blatantly corrupt system that people themselves not willing or they willfully participating in?
Yeah.
I should say that willfully because when these licenses come out and they say 250,000 for one, it are people I know personally who have spoken to me, call me after the criminalization. They're not asking no questions. All right, I want one. Where again?
They're buying for.
You understand? Yeah. And plenty of these people, I can't say all, but a lot, are people who have been incarcerated for ganja. And you know why they want a license? Because they want their freedom.
Yeah.
They don't want no police bother them or whatever. No problems, right? 250,000, good. Let me do what I was doing all the time. You understand? But you are participating in a corrupt system. You really supposed to say, listen, I done already spent a year in jail for this herb. You want me to pay you now to do what I was doing all the time? I think you should pay me.
Yeah.
Because how you going to have a legal system with man now who call planters? When I was doing it, I was a drug man or a mule or whatever terminology under illegality now. But now it's legal and you're a ganja connoisseur.
I think it's much more financially, it makes much more financial sense, right, for the government to put an injection of funds in terms of supporting more farmers, creating an industry behind the farming, because if no other reason,
for sure,
we have some of the greatest climate and soil
for sure
for the herb.
Second that,
You understand? Sure. We living in one of the most ideal places to produce the herb, whether it be indoors or outdoors, because the benefit we have to most foreign country when it comes to indoors, as I grow myself, is the fact that we have that natural humidity. We just have to control cooling here. So you could control your environment in terms of putting your tents or whatever in closer like a AC environment where you could still get that cool down when it come into like that flowering period and them kind of thing now. But more so, we have that humidity which is naturally good for
good for her.
Yeah.
good for her. And if the government put that kind of funding and thing, don't create no separation with no license and these kind of things. It's better only create.
Because and growing the herb is still, that's like the least side, right? Because Jamaica sell out when they started exporting, they sell out overnight, they don't have enough herb.
Yeah.
So the greater thing, so even if I grow peppers, I want to make pepper sauce because I see down in the street.
Correct.
So now if I'm growing herb, which by the way, you could grow way faster and way more trees on the same spot it is take to grow these lumber that they're growing, right? We're talking hempcrete, rope, we're talking
fabrics,
textiles. We're talking about an industry so large that and I've always been
oils.
Trinidad has a laissez-faire attitude, and I think we could turn that into money. So I think we should make here like a just tourist thing where block off certain streets, make the herb, making the herb legal with increased tourism
like
by
a mini Amsterdam.
100% immediately.
I like when you say a block of certain streets.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like what, just a
make it
coffee
biking
street?
and-
Like
like a mini Amsterdam.
Mad.
That we don't play the
Mad.
thing. We could put
Love that.
centralized business places
Woodbrook.
in one place, and we could have that structure in Trinidad.
In that environment alone, you could function that kind of way.
For sure.
24/7, 7 days a week, every day, 365. We could have clubs open, bars. We love it. That's what we like to do. Line party. You know what I mean? We have young budding DJs. We have young artists. We have, you know what I mean? So it will only do good now, you know? And
for sure.
the one thing we would have to work on is the hospitality part of it. Once we get that part good, we will be like
some
the
training.
place to be.
They need to smoke some weed maybe. When they smoke weed, they'll be
I
cool.
don't think they're blazing.
No, well, if you have to work, your attitude will help. Like, and maybe you don't have to be blazing, right? You take a gummy, like have a 25 milligram gummy before you start
think the
work.
old culture, the old styles, that prehistoric way of thinking that ganja go send you mad and and it
make you lazy,
it make you lazy and make you a bum in society. That's still kind of...
You have to forgive them, eh?
No, but...
remember, Nixon and them, sorry to cut you, but
Nixon
and them do a real good job
for sure.
at showing that this ganja bad.
Most definitely.
And our
most
grandparents
definitely.
and them were
the one jugs.
The ones who...
The one jugs.
And let us also talk about, not to be controversial on all your own show, but let me talk about Kush in Trinidad. Because Kush, compressed Kush, not the indica Indian variety.
Right.
We talk about what here in Trinidad we call Kush. Right, which is compressed Colombian weed. Right. With whatever God knows what in it. It does do something to the youths. Right? Because it's not synthetic, but the way it's cured, and you know, people have stories. They always had stories around. Right? I wish somebody from Kariri or whatever would really test it and let me see what's in a piece of Kush, right? But we know as smokers, as herbalists, when we smoke Kush, I don't smoke Kush, right? But when I used to, or when in the earlies, when it now come on, and mind you, let me say I don't. In hard times, right? If I go through real hard times, I might smoke, right? But I don't like it. Because
it's not your first choice of buds.
The head that it does give you is a real drowsy, you know, head. And then if you smoke it in the day, it might mess you up. Because the hot sun and the heat and... So I think that because even I as a young elder, I mean, I'm in my early 40s, but when I look at the youths in their 20s smoking Kush and thing, I'm like, I don't know if this good for all, you know, this kind of, but I know it's not just the weed, and that is what we also have to, we have to stop this thing about blaming the weed. What about the alcohol? Let me talk about the rum. Let's start with the cigarette. Why it is they have $1 cigarette now with co-selling? You have the Mori and then you have the downstream. They have a $4, a $2, a $1. Come on, what are you all putting in those things and giving to our youths to smoke?
I think in that retrospect, especially as I mentioned, the youth, we really need to put some kind of thing in place that has some kind of prevention method to stop the youths and them from smoking at that age.
The early ages.
Now I start smoking early, right? But back in the time when I was smoking early was local, pure.
Good stuff.
We wasn't getting no weed out of this country, bro.
Well, could we change our mindsets too, though? At least in our country, I think being progressive means using consciousness.
Right.
Right? And we need to reach to this point too where slapping somebody's hand or like imprisonment and all these things, that cannot serve us as humanity.
No, not that kind of measures,
Right?
I mean, yeah.
We have to let go, close down prisons and things, because recently I had a quick a vision, and here how I sat in, I give thanks to the Most High for being able to say this now, that when I look at people who became criminals or whatever, we as society have to look at them as victims. And when I say victims, like something happened to you that throw you off a normal life.
Yeah.
You understand? And make you become who you are, if it's a murderer or whatever. And I am sorry for you.
Yeah.
You mess up your whole life experience.
Yeah.
You understand? By doing this. And so where is our compassion versus, oh, you're not one of us, we'll lock you up. You do this thing because that don't work. Right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about ganja, and imagine ganja is in the same book as rape and murder. You understand? So all of them who have in one jail. Come on, that can't be the way to deal with these issues.
Nah,
you know?
definitely that can't.
But
be.
it is a situation that needs to have a knowledge-based assessment, which I think we should have been doing all this time. Even if the government didn't do it, we should be doing it. So we will be able to present that when the time comes.
Yeah. Well, I have an initiative like that.
That is what we need.
The
for
Herbal
thing
Care
to
Network.
really go forward now. You know?
I want to start independent medical research, like giving away weed medicine for free and just doing the documenting and thing, you know. But it's been done. That's the other thing, brethren. If we Google it and stuff, the studies are there. I don't understand what we're dragging our foot about, you know. Portugal, all drugs are legal, according, I think, from my research. Another South American country, but drugs legal. You want to smoke cocaine? Okay, you come to the government facility and they give you a legal amount of cocaine, right? And if you want to come off of drugs, they have drugs to help you not die from withdrawal. You understand? So that, to me, that is progression, meaning you can't criminalize people's vices. You understand? That's what made Amsterdam so progressive. You know what I mean?
I would just in closing, not to be
we need another hour.
We definitely need another hour. Now we have a curse on this program where we just have to sit down twice and think with people, because one episode is seems like it's never enough. Never enough. And maybe next time when we gotta, probably you could have somebody who have a bit more knowledge on the mushrooms and things. And we could deep dive in that. You know, but
for sure.
I definitely want to say that I thank you for this episode. I thank you for being here.
It was a pleasure.
And I look forward to the event coming up. Tell people where they could find you, where they could get some tickets, you know?
Sure.
Where they could,
Thanks so much again, brethren. You know, love again the work that the I&M doing, and God bless it and set it. So Instagram at Stay Calm, it's a plant with 2 T's at the end. That's the best way to follow the works and DM. For tickets for the Herbees Awards, we have 2 partner sponsors, Up in Smoke Vape Shop, UV and Sugarnas, and Casa Farms Grow Shop, which is in Sawa and Duncan Village, San Fernando. Tickets are $100. Again, lots of giveaways, freebies. You're going to like it. We have a few more, about 3 more People's Choice judges left. If you want to be a judge again, to sample all the edibles on Saturday and give your score, and then you're going to smoke all the entrants on Sunday and give your score. But we have all refreshments. So let me say quick, the People's Choice refreshments. We have breaks. We're going to have coffee and tea, you know, different. It's 4 hours. So it's from 4 to 8. You know, you can't eat everything one time. So,
definitely.
We look forward to seeing the cannabis community come out, you know.
And I definitely looking forward to be
People's
Choice Let's look for a day.
Yeah, give
You know what I mean?
thanks.
But as I say, it was a great honor having you.
Yes, I.
And I definitely could look forward to sitting down with you again.
No problem. Thanks so much. Love.
Goodness.
Yes.